Welcome to the Relatable podcast, a safe space for open and honest conversations created for Black people.
This podcast explores how we relate to one another in our intimate connections, friendships, family, and everything in between. Hosted by 3 Caribbean women. I am Fiona, a single mom.
I'm Sherween, a very near empty nester.
And I'm Chantal, a free-spirited monogamist. Relatable, because a shared journey brings hope. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Relatable. How's everybody doing? Sherween, Fiona, Wagwan. Sherween, how's your week been?
Hey, okay. How's my week been? My week has been crazy. My week has been a roller coaster. So my darling Jade came to visit only for 10 days. Don't ask me where those 10 days pass. It was so amazing to see Jade, so wonderful. I miss that child so much. We've not seen each other in over 2.5 years. And let me tell you, that was like the best. Jade was so happy. Jade had so much fun. And then we dropped Jade off on the airport last Thursday. Fiona, Jariah, myself, and Chantal. It would have been, if you were there to see us in the car on the way back, you'd laugh at us so much.
Oh,
The 3 of us cried like 3 jackasses. Big cry, big ugly cry.
yeah. When Jade went in through the door,
Oh, no.
Sherween dropped this wail. It was the Chantal. It was so sad. Like even Jariah, like come and hug her. It was like,
Jariah had to come and hug me.
but it was horrible. It was horrible, and it's like Jade was crying, and then she's just thanking us, and then it was completely awful. From even before we got to the airport, she was already crying. Sherween was very quiet all the way down. Like Sherween was forced into like make conversation, and I could tell it was really hard for her, and it was just awful.
It was not nice. And that was Thursday. Then Friday, my older daughter, Haley, came. So it went from my heart being ripped into shreds to my heart being full of joy because I have my other daughter with me now. So it's been crazy. It's been a roller coaster. But Haley's here for a whole 5 weeks. So I'm very happy about that. Catching up. I think she knows that I'm still a bit sad. I'm missing Jade, but also she's Haley was here like last year. She was here just over a year ago. So she knows St Lucia, she knows how to maneuver, go around the place. So I'm not as hands-on with her, but at the same time, I think she's like, yeah, you're missing Jade a lot. I'm like, yeah. I'm missing Jade, but I'm very happy to have her here as well with me, just to catch up and let her do her thing. Haley's a big woman, yes, she's a big woman, so she's doing her thing. So my week has been fantastic, sad, and fantastic again. So there you go.
Okay. Oh, Fiona, how's your week been?
Well, bonjour de Guadeloupe. Je ne comprends pas anglais. Je suis français.
My friend.
Wow, Fiona.
Let's not get our Martinican and Guadeloupean listeners vexed, please, Fiona.
We're so sorry. Martinique, Guadeloupe.
I don't even want to call it Creole. I don't want to call it.
We don't even know what to call what just happened.
It was Français Creole.
It was Français Creole.
Don't speak English very well. Moi parle français. Moi parle Creole. Moi sorti Guadeloupe. I have a French passport.
Wow.
Hey,
Fiona?
I already pronounced you, Lucia. I love you. Bye-bye.
And for
I
those
am
of you,
liking the French Caribbean too much.
okay.
Love the French Caribbean, the French speaking Caribbean, I should be more specific, because it has the right amount of European convenience with all the things Caribbean. So I've been enjoying the Creole culture. I've been enjoying, and I mean, like when you're driving around Guadeloupe, you seeing so much Creole stuff and madras and this and that. It's beautiful. And I've been really, really, really enjoying that. So, je voudrais
Oh,
vivre.
here she goes again.
We apologize, listeners.
We
We
are so
apologize.
sorry. Je suis désolée.
Yeah, I was even using tenses. Je voudrais.
Oh my.
Chantal, darling, once we leave that one to Panda with her thoughts,
Mhm.
how has your week been?
How has my week been? It's been a mixture. It's been a mixture. I have been very intentional about bringing some balance into a very challenging time that I am journeying through.
Mm,
So I will say that it's been a mixture, and I'm very grateful for the glimmers along the way. That's how my
mm,
week has been. And here we are, still here. So I'm also very grateful for that.
good.
Indeed. Yes. So, y'all, what we are talking about today, what we're bringing into the relatable community is this: the things we wish we had known before moving back to the Caribbean. And so, for those of you who are new to Relatable, when we initially began this podcast, we were all based in London, the three of us. And since then, we have one by one exited Babylon and we have moved home to St Lucia for Fiona and Sherween and Nevis for me. And although the three of us were raised in the Caribbean as children and young adults, and so obviously, we have deep ties to home. We would come home as often as possible whilst being planted elsewhere temporarily. So there are things that we knew. There are things that we were aware of, behaviors, culture, etc. But of course, in all that, I had been away from permanently living in the Caribbean for over 20 years. How many years was it for you, Fiona?
I left St. Lucia when I was 16, just a few weeks away from my 17th birthday. And that's when I went to Venezuela. So
Yes.
I've been out of the country for 24 years.
Yes. And you, Sherween?
20.
20. So, wow. Collectively, we're gone for over 60 years. Look at that.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. You know what hit me the other day? That I have lived outside of Nevis longer than I have lived on this
Can you?
beautiful island. And that hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, wait, what?
Wow.
Because I always forget that I had also lived in New York and I seem to discount those years, right? But no. So, yeah, I have lived outside of Nevis longer than I have lived here. But yet, when I speak of home, I'm referring to Nevis. Look at that. So, Sherween, I'm going to start with you. You've been back in St. Lucia for how long now?
Just over 2 years.
What?
Yep. The 31st of August.
Wow. Okay. So, what are some of the things that you wish you had either remembered or known before you moved back to St. Lucia?
The main thing for me is I wish I had kept in closer contact with my friends.
Mm,
When I left St. Lucia, I was quite young. I had 2 kids. I left school, high school, went into relationship, had my kids, and I lost contact with all my friends. That was
wow.
before I left St. Lucia, by the way. My friends were never a priority. I didn't have that many close friends, apart from one. And then I went to the UK and never kept in touch with anybody. I just completely turned my back and started my new life with my children, my married and thing, retete. And I never really kept in close contact with anybody. So then when I came back, it was really, really a shock for me, as in, it's not really a shock. I knew I didn't have many friends left in St. Lucia because most of them migrated to other countries themselves. The ones that we on social media, we speak every now and then, but that's about it. But they're all living overseas. So when I came back, I had nobody. I had nobody I could talk to and lime with, and somebody to show me the ropes again, somebody to tell me, okay, this nobody. So it was just my family, and some of them, yeah, it was like, hey, you have to sink or swim. So I really was on my own for majority of probably the first 6 months to a year. The first 6 months, my kids were here with me. So when they left, that's when I started feeling it. I started feeling really lonely, really isolated, really like, whoa, what am I doing? That to me was the biggest thing. Keeping that connection with people. I wish I did some more research. I wish I took the time to research, maybe getting into businesses, get to know more about the way things worked down here. Because obviously I would not have known anything back then when I was in my early 20s. I would not have known how, you understand, to come down here, set up a business, do this. I would not have known these things. But I wish I had done the research before I left the UK because it's hard. There's a lot of bureaucracy. There's a lot of who you know, who you don't know. Probably before I would have said St. Lucia has a very laid back way of doing things. Now I will say you have to get used to the way things are done here. You understand? I don't want to call it laid back. I don't want to put a negative spin on it because these people, they, like we said before, they stayed here and did the work. So we can't come with our European self or our Western self and think we could try and tell the people how to do their things. So I wish I knew more about that. I wish I took the time to do the research, make some calls, maybe put in some more fillers, you get me, before I just feel like I could come. It was very arrogant of me. Feel I could
Interesting.
to feel I could just come down and get things done how I wanted, get it sorted the way I wanted. That was arrogance.
Okay.
So I wish I did some more research, get to know more people and stuff like that. Yeah, that's the main things for me, to be honest.
Yeah, and both of them very relatable for sure. Very shared experience. Fiona, what about you, girl?
I agree, Sherween, in terms of losing touch with friends. A lot of my friends that I was close to growing up also left. They're not in St. Lucia anymore either. So that's one thing. And yes, you do lose touch with the average day-to-day daily life of St. Lucia. Like, yes, I'd been back home so many times. For the most part, it would be every year, sometimes twice a year. But it's just a dip in and dip out, right? And just settling back into the day-to-day. And that's where I felt most disconnected, then also disconnected from the friends who did stay or who did move away and have been back a while. So there's that. But one of the things I was also not prepared for was the lack of anonymity. Everybody in your business.
Everybody. Yes.
People know my family and my father and stuff like that. And people who in my thing is not really from New York Caribbean. If anybody stopped me on the road because of New York Caribbean, because they're not from St. Lucia. But otherwise, St. Lucia, Compton. Hi, Miss Compton. Hi, Miss Compton. Oh my God. And I had forgotten about that part. Like, London, you could step out of the house. You could be butt naked. People wouldn't even
For real.
Like, just be any version of yourself in London and do anything, and no one would have an opinion, or no one, like, for the most part, right? And there's a big freedom in that. So when I went to London in the summer, that's one of the things I really enjoyed there. Just walking on the road and nobody watching you. Doing your business, nobody has something to say. And I really, really, really enjoy enjoyed that. So yeah, that's something that I had forgotten. And I think, yes, and then also I don't think, Sherween, that you entirely forgot some of the things like the bureaucracy and how long certain things can take. It's just knowing about it and living it is two different things,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
You always knew that it's not like you thought being in the line in the bank, you thought things had changed since you left St Lucia. No, you always knew the bank is still going to be a long thing, but it's having to do it now.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like I saw a video on Instagram, and it was like going to the bank in Jamaica, and it just had the bank was just full. At least they had seats, right? And people just
Right.
down waiting. I don't know why. Can anybody answer that question? Why is banking so difficult in the Caribbean? Can anybody answer me that question? Because it seems to be a universal thing. Chantal, when you're driving around St. Lucia in the morning, it's around 8 o'clock in the morning, the queue outside of every single bank in St. Lucia or on a Friday. Oh Lord.
Oh, Fridays.
Payday.
Right?
Payday on a
Yes.
payday.
Yes.
Boy.
I don't know, Fiona. I don't even want to start a conversation about the experiences I have had with banks in Nevis since I've been home. That's an episode unto itself.
Can we have somebody from a bank to come and answer the question, please?
I think we should see if we could get a banker
Yeah,
to
to
come
come
on
on.
and talk to us, man. Talk us through some things. Talk us through. We are not okay. We are not okay.
What
Mm.
I do is I designate a day. So if I know
Girl.
I have, for me, it's not even just banking, it's going into castries. So
Okay.
if I if I have one or two things to do, I'll put it off until I have five things to do. And
Right.
then I will go into castries. The bank, I
Okay.
leave my home early and I take a nice brisk walk up the road and I just say, you know what, Showing you'll be here for half of the morning, so it's all right.
Yes. 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 Same. Same. You will find a lot of people in Nevis do the same. They wait until they have a few things and
Yeah.
just it's almost as if you're bracing yourself, which is not cool. Because
No, it
that's
isn't.
not good for your nervous system that you are bracing yourself because you know you have to go to the bank. And it's
It's a
sometimes
long
it's for the
thing.
simplest things. The simplest things, yo. Woo.
And
Yeah.
the thing is that I find when you get to the teller, they are very helpful and if you
Very.
help
Oh,
you,
yes,
and
very.
I
Yes.
just don't understand why just everything takes so long.
That part. That part. It's the time. Because, like you said, Fiona, you get the right person and you are sorted. And even if you're not sorted immediately, my experience has been, they'll take my number, we will give you a call, all the
Mhm.
things. But it's just the procedures and, why. And also, sorry, but I don't know if you guys have this in St. Lucia where you're paying for something with your debit card, right? And it's tap. They tap it but then you still have to sign. I'm
Yep,
like, the money already came out of my
Yes.
account. Why am
yep.
I signing this piece of paper? Why are we killing trees? What is going on here? And I have asked at a few supermarkets, like, why am I doing both? It's one or the other. And they're like, because they asked me to. Like, wow, okay. Defeating the point. Like, what's the point?
Yes.
Don't
I
understand.
I had a lovely experience at KFC
Oh.
um, on on Friday with
Oh,
Haley. So
okay.
I went to KFC in Viewfort, Fiona, and then I'm paying by card. So first thing he said, you have an ID card for that card? I said
Mhm.
yes. But of course, the new cards now, they don't have your name printed on them. Some of them, they don't have your name on it. The card I have, my name is not on it. So I'm like, yeah, but I could give you the card, but I still don't have, it doesn't have my name on it. He's like, well, I cannot sell for you. I cannot put that sale through. I said,
Mm,
why? He said, because how do I know you're the right? I said, well, whilst I understand that, but you all need to get to the times and know that now you get a card. Sometimes they don't put anything, any information, everything is done via the app. Yes, I did not have my phone with me, so I could not access the app to show him my name, to show him the details. So it just made the whole thing long. And I'm
right.
like, Gasa, oi, please, come on. And then so I had to use another card to make that payment. Otherwise, they would not serve us because he wanted to see my ID, to see
Yeah.
the name on the card and the person. I'm like, this is just long, Gasa. Come up to the time, man. Come up.
Yeah.
Or anybody could take the card and tap it. And I say, and I could also go to my bank and tell my bank I didn't authorize that sale. So what's your point?
Oh, okay, Sherween.
You know what happens if you actually go and do that, eh?
Huh?
I say you want to ask if you to go and do
I
that.
wanted to. I was thinking about it and like saying, you know what? I could say I did not make that sale just to piss them off after we ate the KFC.
Mm.
But I wouldn't, I'm a good person. I just thought it. I didn't do
It
it.
was just a thought.
Good.
Oh, my dear, my dear. But yeah, banking in the Caribbean. Woo,
Yes.
it's an experience which I was not. But like Fiona said, maybe it's not that we didn't remember, but more because we hadn't been in a position to be reliant on, the banking system,
Yeah.
right? But now we
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, right. But yeah, so anyone who's thinking of moving home to the Caribbean or moving to the Caribbean, please be prepared for a lot of bureaucracy and plenty times for things like unnecessarily so. All right. So to be honest with you, Fiona and Sherween, I think most of what you have experienced in St. Lucia is also applicable to my experience moving home to Nevis. So for me, a lot of the things in St. Lucia are very applicable to Nevis, my experience being home. And a big part of it is that I actually really miss my community in London. I really miss my community. And the other day I thought to myself, yeah, girl, because you were in London from your late 20s to your late 40s. That's a
Mm.
really important time for building community.
Yeah.
And so you built this I have amazing friends and family, which I call community in London, who have been there with me through all the joys and all the heartaches and everything in between for over 20 years,
I think we all have. We
right?
all have. We've built this amazing, yeah, like you said,
Yeah. And
beautiful community. When I think of our friends back in the UK, I do miss them. And I think that's something we should also acknowledge, that we've left a huge part of us behind.
I just wasn't prepared enough for how
Mhm.
much I would miss them. I knew that I would
Mhm.
miss them, like that's
Mhm.
without a shadow of a doubt. But I didn't prepare myself for how much, right? Because in my mind, oh, going home to Nevis. Nevis is where I'm from. Da, 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 da. But like Fiona and yourself, Sherween, most of my close friends migrated just the same as I did.
Yep.
So it's like, wait a minute. And so even when I would come home in between and they would be home at the same time, they'd be home for Christmas or they'd be home for summer. So it's like, yeah. And then it's like, wait a minute. Okay. Even the ones that are now still here, that went and came back or that stayed, they have very big lives. They have families, partners, businesses, careers. And so the availability to really spend time and rebuild those relationships, just, yeah, the availability isn't there. And so we grab, a moment here and there. I have friends on this small island, 36 square miles, that I haven't seen in months. And it sounds ridiculous, right? Because it's like, well, why? Because people have lives, people got things going on. And then when we do meet up, it's wonderful, it's nurturing, it's lovely. And then we don't see each other for another few months. And there are efforts that are made in between to change. Let's make a monthly date. Let's make, a bi-weekly date. Let's do it. And we may do it once. It's like, oh my God, this is amazing. My heart is full. Yay. And then life. Is either a hurricane or a tropical storm or perimenopause, because we're all around the same age and we're all dealing with that as well. And it's just incredible for me that as someone who loves community and who is a community builder, that I failed to understand or recognize how much I would miss my London community. So that is something that I really want to impart on anyone who is thinking of relocating back home, and whether your home is the Caribbean, elsewhere in Europe, America, the beautiful continent of Africa, wherever you are thinking of relocating to, whatever you call home, please also build space for yourself for the missing of the community that you're leaving behind.
Yep.
Very, very
Yep.
important.
Yep.
Extremely important. Okay. Put things in place where maybe you have monthly check-ins with your people that you're leaving behind, whatever it is. It really is about putting in that effort. It's important. If you want these nurturing relationships and friendships, you have to make the effort. And also, on the flip side, you may realize that you have outgrown certain friendships or relationships. And it's also okay to release them without the guilt. Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
Because that is a reality as well. That you're coming home, you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna be able to spend more time with X or Y or whomever. And you find that you are, and you're like, yeah, no, we are no longer aligned. And there's nothing that you have done or that person has done. It's just that, you are different people. And that is also okay. That's okay.
I find that with family.
Mm.
I find that with family. Family I left behind. And I was really excited.
Yes.
To reconnect and stuff like that, only to realize, you know what? I don't really want to be spending my time with these people. I love them. It's not a lack of love.
Yes.
Or it's not anything they've done or I've done. It's just that I want to find other things to do with my time.
So one of the things I would say about leaving is, especially when you come out of the country for so long, and like we say, we're hanging around with we have friends from all over the place, right? We have our different West Indian friends, African friends, European friends, English friends, whatever. We learn a lot of different perspectives and certain things that we, of perspectives that we had growing up have changed.
Yes. Yes.
And there's certain things that we will not necessarily stand for that are very acceptable back home. So, for example, say like how rife homophobia is, right?
Yeah.
And more than likely, spending time in the UK, you end up becoming good friends with someone who is gay or bi or whatever. And you've been around so many people like that your perspective has changed. So going back home, and you may see a loved one, friend, family, whatever, and if he says something homophobic, it for me, it makes me feel sad. Like, so that's another thing I had forgotten about, like, because I don't like this, like how they say people like from the Caribbean or small islands, they're small-minded. I don't like that when they say we're small-minded and we're backward. And I like to be very mindful of how I talk about us, right? And I just think it is it is people who have a lack of exposure, and then me now looking at things with a more critical eye and looking at how colonialism has affected us and how we're made to stay in that state of a colonial mindset when the colonizers long moved on. So they're the ones who started the whole homophobia thing, right? To benefit their system of slavery. And now they want to come and tell us how to do things, and they're the ones who enforce those mindsets onto us. So I'm trying to be a bit more, I'm trying to be a little bit more understanding, not say, boy, you know, Lucian's so small-minded, they disagree, whatever, and try to look at it larger. Having said that, that don't mean I'm going to sit in line with a bunch of people who are just then making all of these homophobic comments.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to do that. So those are some of the things that have also, I found, to create a rift as well because of, you know, this, and homophobia is just one of them. What I was coming to ask the both of y'all, so okay, I mentioned homophobia and stuff, but what are some of the perspectives that bother you or you difficult with moving back home?
For me, it's definitely misogyny and almost like the attitude towards DV and SV hasn't really changed much, and it's very disheartening. It's very disheartening that people still don't feel safe enough within community to come forward and speak about the things that are happening to them, whether it's DV or SV, and they don't feel safe because there is a lack of confidentiality. You know, everybody chatting everybody business and even taking that into the professional sphere, especially a sphere that is rooted in trust and confidentiality. So that saddens me that I left Nevis with that being something which is very damaging and harmful. And even though there are definitely people doing work to change that, they are the minority, you know, and even just overhearing conversations as I pass by, sometimes it can be very, very disheartening, like I said. And the misogyny, where we have people who are in leadership roles perpetuating this attitude of women being inferior. It's like, what? Just shocking. Just shocking, some of the conversations that are overheard, and some, you know, conversations in my presence, as you said, Fiona, where I will have to advocate and say, hey, not so you go, you know. Not so you go. Right? And then be told, oh, Shani, you're being extra. Well, let me be extra as fuck, because you need to be clear about who I am and what I stand for and what I don't stand for. So there is a sense sometimes that I've come home and I'm fighting, you know? Even not so much as fighting physically, but just fighting against. I'm like, fuck me. I thought I left the system behind. Right. And I'm home and I'm still, and even more so in some aspects, having to fight, having to advocate. So that has been quite tiring. If I'm being completely honest, it is sometimes very tiring and I feel deflated. I'm like, yo, we know better. We come from better. But then going back again to what you mentioned, it's colonization and coming home and recognizing that we still have a lot of decolonizing to activate, right? And sometimes it may feel like you're over here doing it alone, but we're not. There are other people who are also doing the work, and maybe it's we need to shout out more so that we know that we're here and we can support each other through that, because decolonization is a huge thing and it's ongoing and it's deep and there's lots of excavation to be done.
You said something just now where you said about leaving the system, right? So we call England, New York, wherever, you know, these Western countries as Babylon, and we want to come out of the system and right? So we're going home. Do you think we have left the system, right? and entered into, I feel, okay, and gone into the old version of the system, I feel like I'm not articulating myself properly, right? Because like you're talking about SV, DV, misogyny, homophobia, we can speak about relationships with Christianity, our bipolar relationship with slackness and
It is very much that.
with slackness and conservatism, right? Do you think that we are living in another version of the system?
Yes. And it was a system created by the very same freaking people that we're moving away from.
Mm-hmm.
They are still here in so many ways.
Yep.
And so, yes, Fiona, it is a different version, but it's a version created by the same damn people and
Yeah.
perpetuated by our own. So now it's like we're fighting against them and us in a sense.
Yeah.
Because it goes so deep.
Yeah.
Boy. Well, I have my way of dealing with some of them. Huh?
I would love to know, Sherween.
I'm very straightforward when it comes to certain things. And funny enough, I was speaking to my daughter yesterday about it. We were walking and she was looking for something to wear. And she's like, but I don't want to dress to raise attention to myself. And I'm like, what do you mean by that? She said, I
Right.
don't, and it will be the men telling me, I tell her, let me make you understand something. Men or women, whoever tell you anything, if they have a problem with the way you dress, that's their problem.
Mm,
That's a you problem. That's not your problem, Haley. That's their problem.
right.
And just remember that people don't allow people's opinions to not point, to sway you in anything. What you want to do for yourself, you do it. Do not allow just people judging or this, and that's their time and their problem. That has
Mhm.
nothing to do with you. You do what makes you feel comfortable. That's how I am.
Yes.
Somebody came to me in the week. Yeah, in the week, somebody said to me, oh yes, that's what it was. I was going to my aunt to see my granny, and before I even reached the house, I could hear them, my family, in the balcony
Mm.
speaking, saying, that's Sherween, but Sherween put on weight. Sherween getting big. And I stayed downstairs on the road and I tell them, why y'all mind your bumble-clad business? All y'all does do is talk about people weight. And we've discussed that so many times.
Yes.
I say all y'all let's do is talk about bumbleclat, talk about people weight and thing. Y'all have nothing better to do with yourselves. So what if I put on weight? I'm happy. What that have to do if you're while check for yourselves? And I start quarreling downstairs on the road loud. So if people did not hear them, they heard me. So I
Good.
embarrass them. I
Mm.
embarrass. I like to embarrass. I tell them about themselves.
Mm.
You understand? I do not allow people's opinion to matter to me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't. And
Sherween.
and here I think if I watch the way people live in the Caribbean, and it's very much about what others think of them,
Yes.
what others think
Yes.
of how they live, how others perceive them. So you literally living your life for other people.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that
Yeah.
will not happen with me.
Mm.
Not me. I'm sorry. The day I stopped giving a fuck about anybody was the happiest day of my life.
Mm.
So I'm not the
It's a good
I'm
place
not
to be, Sherween.
I am not the one. I
Mhm.
am not the one. Somebody said to my cousin one time, I saw your cousin, the one that never have a bra on. I say,
Uh,
what's my problem with my breast being out?
wow.
Why does she have a problem with my breast? What does my breast not being in a bra have to do with her?
Mm.
Think about it.
Yes.
So yeah, that it's people all up in your business. People all up in
Yeah.
your business. People all up watching everything you do, how you portray yourself. And if you
Mm.
have to take the time and allow it to affect you, my friend, you're losing it.
Yeah,
You're losing. I
for
don't have
sure.
time for it. So maybe I'm the one who I don't watch people and people find it strange. I do not have time to watch people. I don't have the time. I don't. I
Yeah.
people watch, but to make up stories in my head. But I have to waste time. But to sit down and watch somebody, watch their movements, watch how. Nah, man. What's time for that shit? What's time for that?
You know what, Sherween, you said that, and it instantly drew me back to something that happened this weekend, actually. I went for a morning swim with a few people, and towards the end, it was just me and one other person still doing, I guess you would call them laps in the ocean. And as we were walking closer to shore, I guess there were a group of people that weren't on the beach when we first arrived. And
Mm.
so the person with me was like, "Oh, I wonder who they are. Look over, Shani. Tell me who they are." And I said, "No." And she said, "Why?" I said, "Because I don't care. I don't care who they
Yes,
are. Like, I don't care. I just want to come
no,
out, dry my skin, and get ready to go home. I don't give one utter shit who is in the ocean next to me. Like, why?" And it occurred to me that I genuinely did not care.
exactly.
And I love that for me. And I just had to big up myself. Like, I don't like
Yes,
this. They ain't got nothing to do with me. Like, who
Yeah,
nothing at
well,
all.
why does it matter?
exactly? Why does it matter?
You
I just
understand?
myself in my own space, in my own time. Why does it matter? I'm not understanding. And the thing is that I don't know if for me, because growing up in the public eye with my family
Mm,
and stuff, I've learned to
mm,
block out. Like, so I block out
yes.
how people watch. Because y'all tell me as we walking into a crowd oblivious, and like I
Yeah.
don't see nothing else be going on. And that could have just been a survival thing for me, yeah? Because if I'm to be
Mm,
aware of every single person that watching me or saying something or whatever, right? Then I go nuts.
yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
maybe what I've done is like I've just blocked it out in the same way our brains have been conditioned to block out noise or whatever. Like,
Mm,
after a while, you don't hear the fridge or you don't hear the fan or you don't hear certain things because you need to focus. I think
mm,
I've learned to just block it out because if like for me, if I'm dancing and I'm enjoying myself, like I'm doing me. But the moment I know someone is watching me as I dance, like as if I start to dance out of time, right? So I'm
yeah.
I'm messing
Yeah.
up my own groove, Gasa.
Yes. True. Very true.
And I'm
And
allowing this person's gaze to mess up my own groove.
yes.
And that's what happens with life too.
Yep.
So that's why people say, Pastor Finn, you didn't see that person, you didn't see what's going on there, you don't whatever, whatever. I'm like, no, I didn't.
Thank you.
No, and I don't care.
No, we didn't. And that is such a beautiful analogy, Fee, that you use there. The way that you approach the dance floor is the way that you approach life. You focus on yourself and your loved ones, right? You focus, it's not that you're in a bubble, but also comparison is the thief of joy as well. So if you're
Exactly.
so concerned with what everyone else is doing, you will more than likely, it's human nature, start to compare yourself to them
Mhm.
and their perceived success or wins or whatever. And then you get distracted from focusing on your own joy and the things that you have to be grateful for. And so, in a sense, being home in the Caribbean is a reconnection with mindfulness, right? Not just
Yep.
minding your business, as in staying out of other people's business, but really being intentional and mindful about how you are occupying space and how
Mm.
you are navigating your life being back home on the island. So it's been very interesting. And I think for anyone thinking of relocating back to their homeland, definitely take these things into consideration. There was something that I wanted to mention, and I thought about it. I'm like, do I really want to talk about that and bring down the vibe? But if we're anything, we are transparent on Relatable. And one of the things that I did not prepare myself for in returning home has been the proximity to violence.
Boy.
When I live in London or New York, and I combination of 30 years really, I have never witnessed or been close to a violent act in either of those places, New York or London. I have been home for, it will be 3 years in February. And in the space of, I would say, 1 month this year, I was 3 doors down from acts of gun violence, fatal acts of gun violence. I heard the gunshots. I cannot tell you, and I'm getting emotional, how traumatizing it has been to hear gunshots on my road and know that another life has been taken. Another one of my neighbors' lives has been taken. I cannot explain the trauma that I have experienced being home and living where I live, beautiful residential area, but also hearing gunshots that close to me and knowing that someone else has died. I was
Right.
not prepared for it in any way, form, or shape. When I lived in New York and London, I would read about these acts or hear about them on the news. I would never think, okay, I can't go walking through my neighborhood anymore because I don't know if a stray bullet is going to take me out. I never was in a position where I had to reevaluate my morning walks, my evening walks, or even just walking into town because my road has turned into a hotspot. I wasn't prepared for that. So I just thought I'd share that.
That's the thing. I think when it comes to that, the proximity, yeah, makes it scary. We
Yeah.
experienced it earlier on in the year. I mean, in fact, at the beginning of the year,
Mm,
Fiona and I experienced it. Now, for me, it was more sense of I knew exactly what it was because I grew
okay.
up with that. I grew
Right.
up in the boulevard with that. And obviously, you hear about it, we read about it, we hear it on the news, we in group
Mm,
chats, we hear, boy, look, they just kill another man down the road. We kind of
mm,
not, we can we're desensitized to
mm,
it to a certain extent. But I could understand for somebody who's never experienced it, for it to be happening so close, the effects it would have. For me, I think I know I suffer from PTSD.
yes.
I've done therapy. I know I suffered from PTSD to the point where I cannot see people fighting anymore. I
Right.
can't see blood. I don't want to see blood. I don't want to see when you see the videos of accidents. I cannot watch these
Mm,
things. What it does to me, it's awful. But I grew up with it. So it will not, it's not like I'm just very aware that we live on small islands and
yes.
these things they're happening. So
Yeah.
before we would not have heard about it or we would just read it. Now it's happening right next door to us. So yeah,
Literally.
literally, yeah, literally.
Yes.
So it can be scary, but it's just that we live on a small island where these things, the what's the word I'm looking for? The possibility of it happening next door to us is very high.
Mm,
Very, very high.
When it's like, for example, when I was in London, there was a murder on my street,
Yes, I remember that.
a DV case, and but I never knew the girl. I never knew, I never saw them. 'Cause you know how I stay in London, nobody says hello to nobody. Neighbors don't know each other. But when it's back home, it's a little bit more personal.
Yeah,
You may not have known a person personally, or maybe it's someone you may have seen, oh, it's that man, oh, that's so-and-so cousin. And it becomes, and that's what it is. So it's not just the proximity, it's because it's the proximation to your own personal life. It's
yeah,
not I don't want to say a family member, because you know what, this whole thing about everybody relates to everybody, that's true. But the fact is there are going to be they're going to be much smaller degrees of separation,
yeah,
right? And it's because also, I think somebody getting shot in a place where you love, so, and a person is from there too, so the two of you all have that connection as well. So that's why I think it feels a lot more intense as well. And it's also a violation on your own home, right? On your own country. We feel, because we are so patriotic, that we have a certain protective feeling for it. We don't want anything bad to be happening in our house. And by our house, I mean our country. If it's London, that's London, guys, and that's New York or whatever, but that's happening in your house, right? So I think that's what makes it even harder.
Yeah, I agree.
So yes, these are the things that we wish we had been more prepared for when moving back to St. Lucia and Nevis. And one of the things that I wish I'd been prepared for also on the flip side, is how much the sunshine, blue skies, and ocean make me not want to work.
Oh,
Let me tell you,
oh,
the discipline required to stay focused on the task at hand when you're looking outside your window and it's this blue, perfect sky. The trees are just swaying in the most idyllic breeze. You know, the sun is shining. Somebody blasting soca from next door, and you're like, I could just go to the beach today. I could just go for a hike today. Let me just, go and get some patties from by Rosie today. The distractions are real.
oi. Yanusha, I'm always busy doing what I can't tell you. I'm just in stuff, things. You see, by 3 p.m., I can't focus.
Nope.
Oh,
It's over. The day finished, guys.
Done.
Like,
Done.
it's you're right, Chantal. The distractions. It is like, it is not a space. That's why I think most people have to sit down in an air-conditioned office with very little.
Yes.
You ever go inside a bank have windows? All of them office for insurance places, government offices, do they have views? It's a beautiful distraction, and one of the reasons why we left.
Exactly. Because even right now, recording, I keep on looking outside thinking, I wonder if I could just take the mic outside, lie down on the grass, because the grass looking really good out there. I could do with some warmth on my skin. And yes, these are some of the reasons that we moved home. And
That's
so,
right.
as much as there are things that we wish we had been more prepared for, there's also the element of reminders of why we did move home, which helps to balance things out for us. What do you think, ladies?
I love it. I love it. The beach can never get enough of me.
Never.
Iriba could never get enough of me. All right? No way, no how.
Yeah, indeed. And even the crickets, like I love for me that the crickets are the signal for the
Yes.
evening to begin. Like,
It's the sound of the night, darling. We have our
yes.
own unique sound of the night. It's so
I love it.
beautiful.
It is. So many beautiful things.
I'm never bored,
Never.
Yes.
I'm not going to see musicals or concerts or going to these big, big, big fetes. I'm doing none of those things.
Yeah.
I'm not going shopping in Primark and getting all these nice clothes or no. I'm glad for that because Primark is a great store. Did you all hear that?
Yes.
What did he say? I didn't hear him properly.
He said he's glad for that because Primark isn't a great store.
Wow.
Yes, Jariah. Yes, Jariah. That's my boy. That's my boy. Can't wait.
And we keeping that in there. So Fiona, it says a lot about you that Primark used to shop.
I mean, a little switch did go on, like, yeah, but that's fast fashion. That's not good for you anyway.
Like Primark is not a good store. Very good day. Thank you.
Thank you, Jariah.
And happy birthday, my boy.
Yes, Jay. Happy 14th birthday. What?
And on that note, people,
Yes.
What's been bringing you joy this week?
What's been bringing me joy is the progress that I'm making on clearing my grandparents' apartment and slowly making it my own. And it's little things, things are moving slowly because that is the pace. That is a pace, but it is bringing me joy as I begin to feel the apartment lighten up a bit, have less things. Having a lot of things is very overwhelming for me. I don't like things around me. For me, I just need basics, but beautiful basics, right?
Yeah.
So in my bedroom, there's just a bed and one table that has on my my jewelry, my lotions, whatever. And that's it for me. I don't want anything else in my bedroom. And there's a lamp so I can read at night, you know? And it's the same for the rest of the apartment, just slowly but surely making it my own. My mom came down a few days ago and she sat down and she said, "Whoa, in here feels so spacious. Oh, I like this." I'm like, don't like it too much.
You'll be getting more visitors,
She
honey.
was getting very comfortable. I'm like, hey, hey, hey. But yeah, that's been bringing me joy. What about you, Fiona?
Je voudrais dire
Oh, here we go.
que
My God.
y'all know very well what's bringing me joy.
We don't know.
So I'm in Guadeloupe for the festival Monde Vue. And one of the big selling points for me was the fact that I'd be on a panel with someone I've been admiring for many, many years. It's like my Instagram friend, and his name is Sancho. And he is a Gullah Geechee linguist, historian, Harvard professor, article Batman.
Oh.
And Sherween has the biggest crush on him.
I didn't want to out you, but okay.
The biggest crush. And I was supposed to be in Guadeloupe too, but I decided no, I'm going to stay for my child who's arriving.
Yes. Yes, yes.
But yes, trust me, there's this feeling in the pit of my stomach that boy, oh boy,
Oh.
if I was there. Oh gee. Anyway, go on, Fiona. Sorry.
The Chantal surprise video call showing. So when she answered the phone thinking it was me, it was him.
Oh.
I almost had a shit.
So we did the panel and it was great, but I've just been enjoying learning more about the Caribbean. It's my first time to Guadeloupe and just the culture. And like there's like Creole culture everywhere, there's Madras fabric everywhere. Boy, let me tell you, I fangirl so hard, right? I fangirl so hard because Canel Valton, who's taking us around, she's like, oh, we're gonna go into town.
Yes.
And she took me to this corner. She's like, oh, they do this drumming every Saturday. I'm like, all right, cool. And when we braced the corner, I felt like I was seeing a celebrity because it's this corner where they do the guoka drumming and dancing. And I've been following this page for how long?
Oh.
Famous spot in Guadeloupe.
Mm.
And it was like, I was like, oh my God, we actually here. And it was so beautiful. And then you see the people doing the traditional ice cream. So they're churning it by hand, right? It is with a traditional coconut sorbet, right? And that happens every Saturday. So like the culture there is loud and powerful. And then one more thing, they had a man selling food and he serves it in a sea grape leaf cup.
Girl.
So
Girl.
his business is literally called Turned Leaf. And so he makes a sea grape leaf into a cup, like a cone. And then it is fried plantain, sweet potato, breadfruit. He will either top it with chicken, saltfish, or soya. And then he puts a smoked pimento pepper oil on the top. And, Chantal, to top it off, the
Oh
food
no.
made from avocado. So it's like completely sustainable. It's like avocado oil, like solidified
Ah,
avocado oil. They made it into like a form of what feels like a plastic.
yes.
Also, it's like a completely sustainable product.
Mm-mm.
At home, I thought that was like sea grape leaf, as we say in St Lucia, making dog.
Yep.
Mm.
And then obviously it's cheaper for you and it's great for the environment. Like I
Yes.
everything. So it's been an amazing time.
I love this for you.
Oh, I love
And
it.
so, of course, that means that we all have to go back to Guadeloupe
Of
together.
course we do. Yes, of course we
Okay.
do.
Right.
Je voudrais retourner à Guadeloupe.
Oh
Uh,
gosh.
Please stop, Fiona.
Shireen, make your
Yes,
friend stop.
darling.
Come for
Please,
your friend, please.
please.
Tell her to stop butchering the people language, eh?
Let me tell you something now. Mark today. You see October 14, 2024.
Oui.
October 14, 2025. Fiona
Yes.
in French, okay? Wait,
Okay.
all right?
Fiona
D'accord.
will be what? Let's say that. Let's hear that again.
Mm-hmm.
I said
Yes.
October 14, 2025.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we'll be fluent in French, okay?
D'accord.
All right?
Yeah.
No longer be Fiona, okay? And I'll be there on the podcast. How do you say that again in English?
Fiona.
Okay. We're holding you to this, Fee.
All right.
Or should I say Fiona?
Fiona.
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 Oui, okay.
D'accord. D'accord, ma petite.
You know what she's going to do, right? I know what she's going to do, but it's okay. I'll hold that one to myself.
Okay.
And
All
then
right.
when next year comes and she's fluent in French, apparently, I
Mm-hmm.
will say, I knew that was what you're going to do.
Oh, ye of little faith, Sherween. Oh, ye of little faith.
Listen.
Okay.
The amount of stress I get for not being able to swim. I could swim now. I could swim now.
Okay. All right. I hear you. I hear you.
I think she can do it. I have every
Okay.
faith she could do it. I have
Of
every
course
faith,
she
but I just know
can.
how she's going to do it. That is the thing.
Sherween, apart from laughing at Fiona, what else has been bringing you joy?
My kids, my beautiful, beautiful daughters. I am all smiles. I walk in everywhere. My children, when Jade was here, it was like, oh, I know that is your daughter. Now, when they see me, Haley is like, is that your little sister? I'm like, hey.
Oh.
And y'all look so much alike. Haley is gorgeous. And if they tell me I looking like Haley, I looking like Haley, I'm like, hey, thank you. They don't even understand. Thank you. But my kids, that's it. They're bringing me joy. They're bringing me all the joy, all the love. I feel blessed. I feel blessed to be able to have them. I feel blessed that they're here. So yeah, man, that is me. Chantal, Fiona, can you close us out, please, in
In
French?
French.
No, but okay, so are we closing? I need to stop.
Oh, God.
Ok, tout le monde, nous avons fini. Merci à pile pour écouter l'épisode nous. Une journée compati carbone nous hope.
Oh, wow.
Are you saying hope show it in Creole?
Why are you asking me, B? You're the one going to speak
Gosh.
French and Creole.
I don't know what that was. That was a
Can I
mixture.
just say, it gives me hope because that's the most part Creole I've ever heard Fiona speak.
Well done, Fee.
Okay.
Well, Fiona, don't mind them. Don't mind them, eh?
Okay. Une journée Compati Kabanu Espoir. Okay? Respect.
Wow! Google really is your friend.
Go
and
on,
on that
see?
note, people. Thank you. Thank you for listening. I'm not going to steal that ending from Fiona, so all I'm going
Not
to
at
say is
all.
thank you. And
Merci tout le monde.
merci.
Merci.
Goodbye.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Relatable, because a shared journey brings hope.